Happy fall, everybody. I certainly hope that you've been enjoying all of the autumn-inspired recipes I've been sharing with you over the last few weeks. There's been the pumpkin spice cupcakes with the salted maple frosting, pumpkin pancakes, and most recently, the recipe you'll see right behind me here, my monster cookies. Today I have another fall-inspired recipe to share with you, which is a vegan butternut squash soup with cranberries and salted sage croutons. Now the first thing you want to do is start by making those croutons. You want to take 4 slices of bread, chop them into about 1-inch pieces like I have already. Once your bread is all chopped up, you want to drizzle it all with about a tablespoon or so of oil. Nice easy way to create your own croutons, and trust me, they are much better when you make them yourself. You don't want any of those store-bought croutons unless you're really in a jam or unless you have a really trusted brand that you buy. From here, we want to make them salted in sage. So we're going to add about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt right across the top evenly, and about a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. If you have freshly ground black pepper, even better, right? And then of course we want to add that sage. You want about a 1/2 teaspoon or so, but I just evenly sprinkle it right across the top, just like that. Before they go into the oven, mix it one last time, make sure all the spices and salt and pepper gets evenly distributed, and that's it. Go right into the oven. I already have my oven piping hot, 375 degrees. They're gonna go in there until the edges are nice and brown and crispy. Now let's start on the soup. So, since it's butternut squash soup, of course, the key ingredient is butternut squash. It's actually super easy to prep the butternut squash from scratch. I have the full instructions on how to do that on AUDREYDUNHAM.com when you do a search for butternut squash soup. But today I'm gonna show you the shortcut version. Frozen butternut squash squares. Pre-chopped, everything. Just good to go. I just put it into a bowl and microwave for about 8 minutes until it's piping hot. Just pile all that butternut squash into your blender just like this, about 30 ounces of frozen butternut squash that I'm using here. All right, we have 4 more ingredients to add, starting with our low sodium vegetable broth. 3 cups going in, just 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1.5 tablespoons of maple syrup. Lastly, we have some salt, 1.5 teaspoons, and that's it. All right, the key is to get this completely smooth. Alternatively, you can definitely put this in a pot on the stove, warm it through, and use an immersion blender to blend it all through. Either way, you want it smooth. Now at this point, you want to give it a little sample to make sure the salt level is on point, everything's tasting good. That's delicious. So let's pour this up. I like getting creative with my little soup bowls. It really makes the presentation feel so special. Just like that. Take some dried cranberries just like this. Okay, and the last ingredient are those salted sage croutons. I always think it's a good idea to try one to see if you think that they're crunchy enough. Did you hear that crunch? They're ready. Just take a little handful just like this. Top it right on top. I think when you serve these homemade croutons to your friends and family, they can really tell that they're homemade. It makes them feel even more special. And I have to say, this is all ready to go as is. Delicious, fantastic. But if you want to take it to that next level of autumn-inspired amazingness, there's one last little topping you can add, which is just a little tiny pinch of ground nutmeg just to the top, like this. Smells amazing. Got a little bit of the crouton, the cranberry. That's so good. These are the type of recipes you should have on hand. Super fast, just simple ingredients, so easy to do, doesn't require any special skills. I love this soup recipe. I really hope that you love it too. If you decide to try this recipe, please let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to know. And if you'd like to catch any of more of my recipe videos or some tips and tricks in the kitchen, you can click right here and see more. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe by clicking right here. And if you'd like to get instant notifications anytime that I post a new video, be sure to click that bell. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'll see you next time.